Chapter 337. Do you know the consequences of fighting with me? Ice Blade ignored Yi Chen's sword attack as he put his left hand behind his back and said word by word. Yi Chen said, "If people don't mess with me, I won't mess with them. Since you have messed with me, then I don't need to reason with you. Kill." Activating the Zhen Yuan on the sword, all the green lotuses in the air transformed into sword qi, shooting towards the Ice Blade and Daoist Jin Huang. How could Jin Huang block so many sword qi attacks? He hurried to pick up the metal shield on the ground and defended with all his strength. With only his right hand left, he did not even have the chance to fight back. Blood dripped from the corner of his mouth as his body shook violently. Seal. The Ice Blade had attacked. His name was Han Kong, and because he had trained the ice element Zhen Yuan, his blade art poetic perspective was also of the ice element. Therefore, all the warriors in the world called him the Ice Blade. Right then, Han Kong had thrown out his attack. The blade light was hazy, and the cold qi spread out in all directions, freezing Yi Chen's sword movement and poetic perspective. Cold light flash. Ice Blade changed his stance again, throwing out a blade attack towards Yi Chen. Ka lolo. The frozen air split open like a huge crack on a frozen lake. The sharp blade radiance swept through everything in its path, destroying everything in its path. Green lotus light. Pointing out his left hand towards Jin Huang, Yi Chen blocked it with his sword. Ah! Jin Huang screamed. His right arm was cut off at the shoulder, falling onto the ground along with his metal shield. Blood splashed everywhere. How many sword qi attacks can you block for him? Yi Chen backed out under the attack of the blade light. He was talking to Ice Blade. It turned out that he had shot out a beam of sword qi, intending to kill Jin Huang. Ice Blade had discovered his intention, so he formed a palm blade with his left hand and cut the sword qi in half. However, the green lotus sword qi inside Yi Chen's body could be both hard and soft. It could be as hard as a great sword, and soft as a finger. Ice Blade's palm blade had only cut off part of the green lotus sword qi's power. The rest of the sword qi went around Jin Huang's shield and cut off his right arm. Ice Blade squinted his eyes slightly and said in a low voice, "You will die after killing him." "You can try. Is that so? Let's see how you kill me." Yi Chen sneered. He opened his left hand and 5 beams of blue lotus sword qi shot out from his fingers. These 5 beams of sword qi formed a straight line, moving as fast as lightning. Some of them were in the shape of a half-moon, drawing a stunning arc in the air. Some of them were like thin strips of cloth, without any trace at all. Impudent. You will die today. Once the green lotus sword qi appeared, Ice Sky realized that he could not destroy all of them no matter what he did. At most, he could only destroy 4 of them. The remaining 2 could still kill Daoist Jin Huang. Even so, he still went up to block it. The great blade in his hand was swung out at a speed that was invisible to the naked eye, spreading out layers of cold blade light. Kai. Ice Sky had overestimated himself, and underestimated the unpredictable power of the green lotus sword qi. Out of the 5 green lotus sword qi, one of them had perfectly avoided the blade light and went through Jin Huang's head, leaving a finger-sized bloody hole. The other one had been scratched by the blade light, and its power had been greatly reduced. It then stabbed right into Jin Huang's chest. Bang! Jin Huang's chest exploded. His body was like a broken sack as he fell on the gate of the fortress, no longer breathing. After killing Jin Huang, Yi Chen felt like there was a small chain in his heart that had been broken. It was the inner demon that Jin Huang had brought to Yi Chen. Now that Jin Huang was dead, the inner demon had naturally disappeared, and could no longer affect Yi Chen. Kill. Ice Sky's expression was very bad. Jin Huang's death was not that important, but being killed right in front of him was like a slap in his face. Without any nonsense, he held his blade with both of his hands, raised it high above his head, and hacked down. Rumble. The air in the fortress was suddenly pushed out completely, making everyone feel like they were suffocating. In the next second, the blade light, which was as tall as the fortress and a couple of meters wide, hacked down heavily. Because of the limited space, the blade light first made contact with the inner structure of the fortress, bringing up a teeth-aching metal exploding sound. Only then did the blade light attack towards Yi Chen. Green Lotus Mountain. It was Yi Chen's first time facing a top astral reaching realm warrior, so he did not dare to be careless. His nerves were stretched tight, and the Zhen Yuan inside his body poured into the Starscar sword like a tide. A sword light that was not any smaller than the blade light and had a huge green lotus engraved on it shot out like lightning. Go back to your room. The battle between the two was too loud. Seeing the power of the blade light and the sword light, the astral reaching realm warriors with faster reactions hurriedly rushed back to their rooms and shut their doors. The others with slower reactions smiled bitterly and pushed their protective Zhen Yuan with all their strength. Dang! The blade light was like a blade used by a giant, while the sword light was like a sky-opening great sword. The two clashed together, and layer after layer of shockwaves spread out, filling up the entire fortress. Creak. At first, it was a slightly weaker astral-reaching realm warrior whose protective Zhen Yuan had been twisted. Then, a series of twisting noises were heard. Most of the warriors had pale faces, and their eardrums were ringing. Only a small number of late astral-reaching realm warriors were able to take on the shockwaves head-on. Before they could catch their breaths, an even more powerful shockwave exploded out. The only exit was the gate of the fortress. A couple of meters thick light wave shot out. If the fortress was made of normal metal, it would have been shattered instantly. A lot of people puked out blood. No. Let's use this chance to go back to our rooms. The battle between top astral reaching realm warriors was extremely destructive. If they used all of their power, even early astral reaching realm warriors might be shaken to death. Of course, attacking together would be a different story. Dozens of Zhen Yuan streams would be thrown out, and even a top astral reaching realm warrior would not be able to handle it. His feet rubbed on the ground as Yi Chen slid out dozens of meters. Ice Sky was a bit more powerful than Yi Chen. He backed out 7 or 8 steps, looking at Yi Chen coldly. I admit that your battling power is already close to the top astral reaching realm warriors. But, the gap is still the gap, and it will never be made up. Take one of my attacks. Cold light break. This time, Ice Sky's blade light was even brighter, containing the ice mentality that could freeze everything. At the astral reaching realm, after digging out all of the potential of the martial arts, the only thing left would be the mentality. If the mentality was powerful enough, then the power of the martial arts would be endless. A cracking sound was heard as the inside of the fortress was covered in frost. The frost was getting thicker and thicker, turning the fortress into a world of ice. Sky-shattering clouds. An eye-piercing electric light exploded, and countless electric snakes shot out in all directions before exploding. Facing the ice mentality, Yi Chen used the thundercloud mentality that he was best at. The thundercloud mentality was based on the cloud mentality, and the thunder mentality was used as a supplement, so its form was based on the thunder mentality. The thunder and the ice clashed together, causing electricity and ice shards to shoot out continuously. Hey! Thunder mentality? No, there is another mentality inside. Ice Sky frowned as he pushed his body art, rushing toward Yi Chen. Ding! 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 Dang! The two moved around, sword light and blade light flying everywhere. From time to time, they would fight from the first floor to the second floor, then from the second floor to the third and fourth floor. The whole fortress was filled with the two's figures. Ice World. Being in midair, Ice Sky waved down his blade. Within the ice mentality, there was the snow mentality. The temperature inside the fortress dropped to the extreme. Green Lotus accumulation. Break. The Green Lotus sword art contained the mentality of wood and the mentality of water. The Green Lotus accumulation was the second half of the 7th movement, which only contained the mentality of wood. However, the Green Lotus sword art was very special. It was obviously a mentality of gentleness, but when it was used, it had the characteristic of being indestructible. Crack. The Blue Lotus was frozen, but it soon broke through the icy light. The concept of wood was extremely tenacious, it could break through earth and ice. Only the concept of metal could restrain the concept of wood. However, because Cold Sky's Jin Yuan was too vigorous, the Blue Lotus eventually lost its strength. Shoo! Shoo! Jumping back a couple of times, Yi Chen avoided Ice Sky's blade light. He looked down and saw that a large part of his chest was covered in frost. The good thing was that he was wearing the light armor. Otherwise, that blade attack would have frozen his chi and blood, which would greatly decrease his power. The top astral reaching realm warriors are indeed not to be underestimated. I have to finish the battle quickly and beat them back. Burning my Jin Yuan and using the blood explosion spell at the same time is too damaging for my body. Right then, Yi Chen's body was like a piece of porcelain, looking like it could shatter at any second. It was still because he had trained the pure jade body boosting spell and had been trained by the sky demon flower. His body was no weaker than the top astral reaching realm warriors. Otherwise, he would not be able to last this long. This secret martial art of yours should be the minor blood demon body separating great art of the blood demon master, right? Unfortunately, you do not have a blood demon doppelganger. Otherwise, I would not be able to do anything to you in a short period of time. Ice Sky was confident that he could beat Yi Chen, or even kill him. But it would take a lot of attacks, since the gap between the two was not that big. The blue and red flame was burning fiercely. Yi Chen took a deep breath. The Star Scar sword in his hand seemed to have become heavier as he lifted it up slowly. Green lotus sprout. Woo. As he waved out his sword, the sword wind started to howl. The blue intent spread out, and the water-like sword light was extremely cold. Your most powerful ace attack. Then take my ice river pressure, Ice Sky yelled. He could tell that Yi Chen did not have the power to continue battling anymore. This attack would be able to beat him completely. After that, his life would be in his hands. Boom. The two's most powerful attacks clashed. The ice mentality and the wood mentality were fighting against each other. The blade light and the sword light clashed. However, what made Ice Sky feel bad was that Yi Chen's sword light had been weakened from its peak to its peak, and then to its peak again. It was like the little grasses that had withered in the winter, and then started to grow again in the spring. It was as if they had broken through the ice and sprouted. Yi Chen looked at Ice Sky coldly. This was the 8th movement of the Green Lotus sword art. As a top of the top-rank Earth Realm sword art, the 8th movement's power was way more powerful than the 7th movement. The poetic perspective was even more incomparable. Up until now, he had only mastered 80% of its essence. Chapter 338. Crack. Yi Chen's sword light's power had been pushed to its limit while Ice Sky's blade light started to dim down. Even though he was more powerful than Yi Chen, his protective Jin Yuan layer had still been broken through. He puked out a mouthful of blood as his body was blown away. It's not over yet. Green Lotus Sky. The 8th movement of the Green Lotus sword art was the same as the 7th movement. It was also divided into the first half and the second half, which could be separated. Before, Yi Chen had only performed the first half, but now, he had performed the second half. The power of the sword light expanded at a horrifying speed, heavily smashing towards Ice Blade, who was still flying backwards. This sword attack, I will remember it. Ice Blade was bleeding from all 7 of his orifices as a deep sword mark appeared on his chest. The next time we meet, it will be the time to kill you. Weren't you acting all high and mighty? You are nothing special. If it were not for the fact that his body was under too much pressure, Yi Chen would have attacked him even more fiercely. That dignified attitude of his made him feel disgusted. You. Very good. Iceblade, will kill you for sure. Iceblade's face turned green. This time, he had not been able to save his people, and he had been defeated as well. The mental humiliation had even weakened his blade intent a bit. His body shot out of the ground like a hawk, flying out of an empty room and out of the fortress. After a couple of flashes, he disappeared without a trace, giving people a feeling of being able to come and go as he pleased. Woo! Letting out a heavy breath filled with the smell of blood, Yi Chen extinguished his Jin Yuan and released the blood explosion spell that had been burning his chi and blood. Without taking out the medicinal power, Yi Chen directly swallowed a small piece of blood sunflower petal, chewed it up, and swallowed it down. Ice Blade has been defeated. Seeing that there was no more movement, most of the people walked out of the room, including the dozens of people who had attacked Yi Chen. With a glare, Yi Chen threw out 5 sword attacks towards them, crisscrossing them. Screams were heard. The dozens of people did not even have the chance to react before they were dismembered immediately. They asked for it. The situation was not clear yet, and they had already attacked. Waiting for the enemy to turn the tables, it would be strange if they were spared. Exactly. No matter how good the rewards from the Floating Mountain Martial School are, you need to be alive to get them. Many people discussed in low voices. Yi Chen cupped his fists towards the Red North duo and the other astral reaching experts. Everyone, words cannot express my gratitude. Let me recuperate first, then we can all drink together. All right, we'll wait for you. The Crimson North duo laughed. Once he reached the peak level of mid-astral reaching realm, he would be an extreme astral reaching realm warrior. This was the advantage of being a sword artist, and his advantage was even bigger than normal sword artists. The Sea of Souls realm is still far away from me. Right now, I will focus on dominating the astral reaching realm. Yi Chen had a huge ambition. He wanted to become the most powerful astral reaching realm warrior, the most invincible one, just like how he had dominated the clasping Yuan realm before. But the difference was that back then, there was still Sikong Shung chasing after him. This time, he wanted to completely dominate the astral reaching realm and kill all of the astral reaching realm warriors within seconds. Otherwise, it would be a waste for him. Shoo, shoo, shoo. After absorbing the heavenly demonic flower's medicinal power, Yi Chen's bones, flesh, blood, and qi and blood underwent a small strengthening. During the strengthening process, some stinky impurities were expelled. As soon as they came in contact with the milky white light, they were immediately annihilated, disappearing without a trace. 3 days later, on the metal floor of the Demon Defiance Fortress, everyone had gathered together to barbecue and drink. Here, everyone give it out. Yi Chen took out a large amount of wine from his storage ring. These wine bottles were placed in a wooden chest, making a total of 12 chests. Haha, this is the Black Dragon Empire's top-notch wine. It's also good for cultivation. Many of them hadn't left the Blood Demon battlefield for a long time. Smelling the enticing wine fragrance, they couldn't wait to open the cork and gulp it down. Yi Chen laughed. I have a lot of wine here. Everyone, drink as much as you want. Red North twin warriors were a pair of sworn brothers. The two grabbed meat with one hand and drank with the other. Yi Chen, I didn't expect Ice Blade to be beaten away by you. He is one of the top 7 astral reaching realm blade artists, and the 7 blade artists are just as famous as the top 10 astral reaching realm sword artists. They are all top astral reaching realm warriors in the whole South Rudra region. Luck. If he comes again, I won't be his opponent anymore. Hihi, his injuries are not light. Even if he comes again, he won't be your opponent. Plus, if he comes again, he won't dare to be so arrogant. Iceblade's actions that day were indeed not kind. Even if an inner master of the Floating Mountain Martial School had an old relationship with him, he shouldn't have only targeted Yi Chen and let Daoist Jin Huang attack him as much as he wanted. Everyone had long since seen him as an eyesore. He looked cold, but did not have a noble heart. Let's not talk about him. Who wants to leave the Blood Demon battlefield? I will take him out. Before entering the Blood Demon battlefield, Yi Chen did not know that the minor Blood Demon body-separating great art could suppress the Blood Demons, and could ignite the Blood Demon Jin Yuan inside their bodies. Without exaggeration, although Yi Chen was not a top astral reaching realm warrior, he could beat top high-rank Blood Demons. Killing them would not be impossible. Take us out. A lot of people's eyes brightened. They had been trapped in the fortress for too long. Although they could trade for food every time, they could not eat and drink as much as they wanted. Plus, some of them had families, so they missed them very much. Su Lan said excitedly, Yi Chen, you can take us out. Yi Chen said, of course, but you have to come in batches. If you bring too many, I can't guarantee your safety. You all know how scary the Blood Demons are. No hurry. As long as we can get out, it doesn't matter if we stay a bit longer. This barbecue went on for a whole day. On the second day, Yi Chen led the first group of people and flew towards the nearest conveyor door. After killing a lot of Blood Demons and a powerful high-rank Blood Demon, the first group of people left smoothly. Then came the second group. The third group, after a week, all of the astral reaching realm warriors who wanted to leave had already left. The rest were either people who did not want to leave or people who had just gotten in. The news of me killing Jin Huang should have already spread out. I wonder what kind of astral reaching realm warriors the floating mountain martial school would send to deal with me. I have to reach the mid-astral reaching realm as soon as possible. Only then would I have the power to protect myself. Yi Chen did not dare to relax. There were a lot of astral reaching realm warriors in rank 6 martial schools, and there would be a lot of top astral reaching realm warriors as well. If there were only 1 or 2 of them, he might still be able to escape. But if there were more than 2, then it would be extremely dangerous. And this was without the possibility of an extreme astral reaching realm warrior. Otherwise, an extreme astral reaching realm warrior would be enough to kill him. Chapter 339. There were many artifacts in the Blood Demon battlefield. One could obtain at least 1 or 2 low-grade artifacts almost every day. After so many days, Yi Chen's storage ring had accumulated dozens of low-grade artifacts. There were blades, spears, swords, staffs, hammers, pikes, short pikes, and all sorts of artifacts. If sold, Yi Chen's low-grade spirit stones would increase by at least 600,000 to 700,000. In terms of earning spirit stones, even peak 7th grade sects couldn't compare to him. Of course, the stronger one was, the easier it was to earn spirit stones. In the Blood Demon battlefield, Yi Chen couldn't say that he could walk sideways, but he could walk straight without any problems. The others who followed Yi Chen all had their own harvests. Each of them had several low-grade artifacts, which was equivalent to their harvest in several months. More importantly, they used to earn spirit stones with their lives. But now, as long as their luck wasn't too bad, the chances of them dying were very small. However, the artifacts in the Blood Demon battlefield were not inexhaustible. After a period of time, low-grade artifacts had become rare. Only battle experience continued to increase. There are many low-grade artifacts, but only 3 mid-grade artifacts. The first 2 are the axe and the streamlight armor, and the last one is the purple gold mace. Seems like getting a mid-grade sword won't be that easy. In the room, Yi Chen put away the axe and the purple gold mace, then shook his head. With a mid-rank great sword, Yi Chen's attacking power would be able to compete with top astral reaching realm warriors. Even if the other top astral reaching realm warriors also had mid-rank great weapons, at least he wouldn't have to worry about their weapons being damaged. For a sword artist, not having a sword was a very serious problem, and it was also something that Yi Chen had been worrying about. Forget it, let's go barbecue first. Opening the door, Yi Chen shockingly lived on the 4th floor of the Demon Resistance Fortress. After defeating Iceblade, everyone believed that Yi Chen had the qualifications to live on the 4th floor. Yi Chen, on the other hand, didn't care about this. The 4th floor of the Demon Resistance Fortress was empty. After Iceblade left, there was not a single person. Living here was no big deal. On the metal floor, Red North Duo and the others were already barbecuing. The aroma of meat and wine mixed together, pervading the entire Demon Resistance Fortress. Yi Chen, come quickly, the barbecue is done. Yi Chen walked down and smiled. Da Bei, you guys can really eat. Big North was the eldest of the Red North Duo, and the second was called Little North. Both of them had the word North in their names, and their hometown was also in the same place, Red Valley City, so they were called the Red North Duo by the martial artists in the pugilistic world. Big North was in his 40s this year, and looked very sturdy. Before you came, we ate rice every day, and it was tasteless. I didn't expect you to have so many kinds of dried meat in your storage ring. Hehe, just in case. Yi Chen had 2 low-rank storage rings that were used to store all kinds of food, which were piled up to the brim. Picking up a piece of roasted meat and munching on it, Yi Chen suddenly had an idea. He asked, "You guys have been roaming around the Blood Demon battlefield for so long. Do you know any places with more prized artifacts? Mid-grade prized artifacts?" Crimson North Duo's complexion changed. Lil Bei solemnly said, "I know a place where there is a high chance of obtaining a suitable mid-grade treasure." "Oh, where is it?" Yi Chen's spirit was roused. That place is located at the center of the Blood Demon battlefield, as well as the center of the 3 demon-defying fortresses. It's called the Mass Burial Mound. Many astral-reaching experts have died there. As for why there are so many artifacts there, It's mainly because a super war happened there in the ancient era. Thousands of astral-reaching experts participated in the war. In the following years, many astral-reaching experts went there to search for treasures. Some of them were killed, but their artifacts were also left there. In this cycle, the number of artifacts inside has not decreased. Yi Chen understood Big North's meaning. The artifacts of the ancient era were certainly unusable in the present era. However, more and more people went there to search for treasures. Leaving their artifacts inside would only attract more people, just like a rolling snowball. Of course, the majority of artifacts were trash, and there was nothing that could be done about it. Why didn't you tell me before? Yi Chen asked curiously. Little North smiled bitterly. It's not that I didn't want to tell you. It's just that it's a dangerous place. If the blood demon battlefield is a place of death, then the danger of that place is several times higher. Moreover, I've never been there before, so I don't know the specifics. I was afraid that if I told you, it would harm you. Many thanks for telling me. Yi Chen smiled. He had never been afraid of danger, not to mention that this danger was within his tolerance range. Big North tore off a piece of meat and said vaguely, "You really want to go? That place is called the Mass Burial Mound, and it's not just for show. I'll definitely go, but not now." Yi Chen had his own plans. Recently, the bottleneck of mid-astral reaching realm had loosened, and he planned to use this opportunity to break through. With a mid-astral reaching realm cultivation base, there would be very few things in the blood demon battlefield that could threaten him. There was no day or night in the blood demon battlefield. After eating the barbecue, Yi Chen looked at the unique scenery on the balcony, relaxing his mind. The Earth Astral Pill isn't that important in breaking through realms, but I still have to take it. Only by relying on the Earth Astral Pill's medicinal power can I have a chance of breaking through to mid-astral reaching realm. Otherwise, I'll have to wait a bit longer. If Yi Chen's body was a bottle, then the green lotus Zhen Yuan would be like the water in the bottle. Now that the water was full, it would be impossible to continue filling it. Only by making the bottle bigger could it hold more water. Yi Chen did the opposite and prepared to continue filling the bottle with water. Once the bottle became bigger, he would naturally break through to mid-astral reaching realm. Doing this would be very dangerous. His body might explode, and even if it didn't, it would leave behind serious injuries. Very few people would choose to use this method to speed up their breakthroughs. It was truly not worth it. My body's strength has already reached the limits of astral reaching realm experts. There shouldn't be too much danger. I just don't know if I can succeed or not. Yi Chen dared to do this because he had his own confidence. First of all, the bottleneck had already loosened, and was not unbreakable. Secondly, his body was very powerful, and could endure the majority of the backlash. Failure wouldn't affect him much, but success would allow him to enter mid-astral reaching realm in advance. Let's begin. Letting out a breath, Yi Chen returned to the cultivation room. The milky white radiance had a calming effect. Yi Chen quickly calmed his mind. He took out an earth astral pill glowing with starlight and swallowed it without a second thought. Gurgle gurgle. The moment the earth astral pill came in contact with the green lotus Zhen Yuan, it immediately dissolved, transforming into waves of tyrannical medicinal power that surged forth like a torrential river. Refine. The surging green lotus Zhen Yuan wrapped around the earth astral pill's medicinal power, forcibly refining it. After an unknown amount of time, Yi Chen's body started to swell a bit. This feeling is like an inflated balloon. No wonder not many people dare to try. After refining the entire earth astral pill's medicinal power, the Zhen Yuan in Yi Chen's body could no longer be described as surging. It was extremely berserk, sweeping out from time to time. At this moment, his powerful soul power played an absolute role, forcibly suppressing the green lotus Zhen Yuan, not letting it run amok. Second Earth Astral Pill. Taking out the second Earth Astral Pill, Yi Chen swallowed it without the slightest hesitation. Creak. Yi Chen's body started to swell a bit. Third. Fourth. The fourth Earth Astral Pill was only half refined, and Yi Chen was like a barrel of gunpowder that could explode at any time. Astonishing Zhen Yuan ripples filled the cultivation room, unable to be transmitted out. Compress. The might of his soul power exploded to the limit. Chapter 340. Mass Burial Mound. The most dangerous place in the Blood Demon battlefield was also the place with the most treasures. It was not that big, only a few thousand miles in radius. The terrain inside was strange, with bones everywhere. Because people had been trying to find treasures, they had opened up countless tunnels. These tunnels crisscrossed, running through the underground. It was hundreds of times more complicated than the most complicated maze. Although most of the astral reaching realm warriors knew that there were a lot of treasures in the mass burial mound, and that there was a 50% chance of getting a mid-rank treasure, there were not many people who dared to go. It was simply too dangerous. If 4 or 5 people went, perhaps only one would make it back alive. It was a dangerous place with only 4 or 5 people going. Of course, the temptation of the treasures was too big. Some of the weaker astral reaching realm warriors would try their luck there. But there were too few of them. Those who had the confidence to go to the mass burial mound were basically the more powerful late astral reaching realm warriors. Besides them, the top astral reaching realm warriors had chosen the mass burial mound as a must-go place. For them, the mass burial mound was only a small dangerous place. As for extreme astral reaching realm warriors, they were rarely seen in the whole South Rudra region. They did not lack mid-rank treasures, so naturally, they would not go there. All in all, the mass burial mound was a place for the top astral reaching realm warriors. Shoo! In the sky, a blue shadow streaked across at an extreme speed. From time to time, there would be bloodlight shooting up into the sky. However, without exception, they were all killed by the sword chi. When I was at peak level early astral reaching realm, I could already fight against ice sky. Now that I have reached the mid astral reaching realm, most of the top astral reaching realm warriors would not be my opponent. However, the situation in the mass burial mound is quite complicated. There might be a couple of top astral reaching realm warriors working together. I still have to be careful. In the battle for treasures, it would be fine if there were only 2 people. But once there were a lot of people, a couple of people against one would definitely happen. This was a blood-red world. The clouds in the sky were so red that they looked like they were about to drip blood. The ground was full of holes, and there were many broken stone tablets stuck in the ground. The smallest of them was 7 to 8 meters tall, while the tallest one was hundreds of meters tall. They were covered in bloodstains, and filled with evil chi. Caw, caw. A few crows flew past. Unlike ordinary crows, the crows here were blood crows, the same race as blood devils. They lived by devouring blood essence. Poochie. All of a sudden, a beam of blood-red light flashed across, and all the blood crows in the sky were swept away. Swoosh. The blood-red light returned to its original spot, condensing into a human shape. It was clearly a high-grade blood demon. Beside him, there were 2 people. One was wearing a black robe and a ghost mask. It was indeed the corpse man. The other was wearing a blood-red robe, and his blood-red pupils were like 2 blood diamonds, shining with an evil light. Tang Shui, your blood demon doppelganger is getting more and more powerful. Its power should have reached the top-level blood demon level, right? The corpse man did not let out his gold shell corpse, so his tone was a bit flattering. The man in the blood-red robe glanced at the corpse man, just a little bit more. The blood demon doppelganger's growth speed is 2 times slower than a free high-grade blood demon. The reason it could grow until now is because I often bring it to the blood demon battlefield to hunt. Oh right, you are doing well in the Windy Nation. How come you have the time to come to the blood demon battlefield? This is not a place for you to rampage. The corpse man felt a bit embarrassed after being looked down upon. This man was none other than the infamous Master Blood Demon. Master Blood Demon's cultivation had reached the peak of late astral reaching realm a long time ago. Among the 108 ghost warriors of the 9 ghost cult, he was one of the top warriors. He was more than twice as powerful as the corpse man. Something unexpected happened. Therefore, I wanted to get a mid-grade artifact from the blood demon battlefield. Although the golden skulls on his body were powerful, they were not artifacts. This time, he wanted a mid-grade claw. If he had a mid-grade defensive artifact, then it would be even better. Just follow me. Among those people, any one of them could take your life. The blood demon licked his lips as he stared in front of him. A couple of people had appeared out of nowhere. On the dozens of meters tall Steely, a skinny sword artist wearing a blood robe stood. He looked to be in his 30s, and his face was strangely pale. His pitch-black pupils seemed to have the power to pierce through the surreal space, shining brightly and piercing. This is the blood sword artist. The corpse man was stared at by him, and his hair stood on end. The blood demon said, "This man is even crueler than us. His battling power is extremely powerful. He once killed 3 late astral reaching realm warriors with one sword attack. Unless it is absolutely necessary, do not provoke him. Otherwise, even if you run to the ends of the earth, he will still be able to catch up." Indeed. Although the corpse man looked like neither a human nor a ghost, he was also afraid. From the blood sword artist, he could feel a bloody, murderous sword intent. Subconsciously, he did not want to provoke this person, so he did not need the blood demon's reminder. Glancing over the blood sword artist, Master Blood Demon's vision landed on a tall and sturdy man, Ghost Bear, the leader of the bandits in the Star Lake Black Dragon Empire. He has a large group of astral-reaching realm warriors and a lot of underlings. He is also a top astral-reaching realm warrior himself. We can pull him into our ranks. It does not seem that easy. Our 9-ghost cult used to be unparalleled in the past, but now, everyone wants to kill us. Not many people would dare to join us. Everything depends on effort. How would you know if you do not try? The day the leader returns will be the day the South Rudra region becomes the new leader. The blood demon's body emitted a soul-stirring, domineering aura. The corpse man was secretly shocked. The top astral-reaching realm warriors were not only the blood demon, but also the blood sword artist and the ghost bear. On the ground between the steelies, there were many different-sized tunnels. Right then, a large group of people rushed out. Among them, there were a couple of people with horrifying auras, which were comparable to the blood demon and the other two. Boom! After a while, beams of blood-colored light shot up into the sky. These light beams appeared from the underground passageway, and they were shot out from the ground. Every 3 days, the blood devil baleful chi will erupt. Those who are infected by the blood devil baleful chi will fall into an illusion of slaughter, unable to extricate themselves. The blood devil baleful chi is no exception. Now that the blood devil baleful chi has appeared, we will be safe for the next 3 days. Waiting until the light beams disappeared, the blood demon's body flashed, flying into the nearest tunnel. The corpse man and the blood demon doppelganger followed closely behind. Go in. The blood sword artist and the ghost bear jumped in. As for the people who had just come out, some of them went back to the demon defiance fort, while others rested for a bit before continuing to enter the tunnel. Soon, there was no one above the burial mound. Shoo! Landing on the 7 meters tall Steely, Yi Chen frowned slightly. Just as the Red North duo had said, there were countless tunnels in this place. People who came here for the first time would definitely be hesitant, since the underground was not like the surface. Heh, I did not expect to meet a newbie here. All of a sudden, a rock behind Yi Chen vibrated, turning into a human shape. It was an astral-reaching realm warrior who was good at disguising. Without thinking, he threw a deadly attack toward Yi Chen. Didn't anyone tell you that the people who come here are not normal people? Turning around, Yi Chen pointed out his finger. Shoo! The cloth-like green lotus sword chi pierced through the warrior's head, causing a blood mist to burst out. How is this possible? You are obviously a mid-astral reaching realm warrior. He still could not understand how Yi Chen's battling power could be this powerful. His right hand made a grabbing gesture, and the warrior's storage ring landed in his hand. Without looking at it, Yi Chen flashed his body and disappeared into the tunnel 10 meters away. Powerful. Fortunately, I was far away, and could not assassinate him in time. Otherwise, I would be the one dead. On a slope far away, the soil split open, and a human figure rose up. He looked at the place where Yi Chen had disappeared, and thought to himself that he was lucky. Yi Chen's cultivation base and battling power were not comparable, which made him easy to be overlooked. And, the consequence of being overlooked would be his life. Traveling through the pitch-black tunnel, Yi Chen could already hear the sounds of fighting. After a few blinks of an eye, a scream was heard, and the underground returned to silence. Every step in this place is dangerous. Not only do I have to guard against the sneak attacks from the top astral reaching realm warriors, I have to guard against the blood demons as well. They are the true masters of this place. Wearing the star scar sword on his waist, Yi Chen released his soul power. Everything within 500 meters was under his control. Once there was a slight movement, he would be able to sense it immediately. Woo woo woo, a ghostly wail and wolf howl was heard as a few bloodlights converged from 500 meters away. High-rank blood demons, a bit strange. Blood demons were good at sneak attacks, and there were very few examples of them attacking humans head-on. These high-rank blood demons seemed to be afraid of not being noticed, so they did not hide their aura at all, and even let out a mournful roar. Yi Chen's goal this time was to find a mid-rank great sword. He did not want to be entangled with the blood demons, so he flew down the tunnel. Shoo! Sword light flash. The high-rank blood demons blocking his way were sliced into dozens of pieces. Gradually, Yi Chen arrived at a depth of 1,000 meters. Before he could do anything, an intense battle came from above. The earth shook, and the mountains shook. Mud and rocks flowed down, flooding the tunnels one after another. Bang! A huge chunk of mud was thrown at Yi Chen. Break! The sword light flashed, and the mud chunk was cut in half. Hey! There are treasures inside. Once the mud chunk was separated, countless rays of light could be seen, as if it was embedded with hundreds of bright gems. There are a few mid-rank treasures. Easily distinguishing the aura of the mid-rank treasures, Yi Chen reached out his hand to suck. Courting death. How dare you steal our things? Two human figures shot down from above, each throwing an ace attack at Yi Chen. The destructive shockwave collapsed countless tunnels. Using the separating shadow flying art, Yi Chen dodged as he raised his head. The first one that entered his eyes was a tall and sturdy middle-aged man, carrying a frightening evil aura. The other one was a short old man with wrinkled skin, looking like dried tree bark. Not bad, but your luck is bad. The old man stared at Yi Chen with evil intentions. He and Ghost Bear had fought over the mud chunk containing many treasures. He did not expect that Yi Chen would appear down there. Unfortunately, he and Ghost Bear were both top astral reaching experts. Killing Yi Chen would only take a few moves. Chapter 341. Perhaps you too are just unlucky. Yi Chen's expression was indifferent. Hihi, are the young generation all this arrogant nowadays? Ghost Bear turned his head and glanced at the elder, Old Zhu. He doesn't even put us in his eyes. Old Zhu laughed. Ghost Bear, you and I will take care of him first, then we'll decide who these weapons belong to. What do you think? That would be for the best. These weapons won't be able to run away anyway. Ghost Bear smiled coldly as the huge axe in his hand ignited with a raging flame. This was a fire attribute mid-grade weapon. Under the activation of Jin Yuan, waves of powerful pressure spread out. Die. Taking a step forward, Ghost Bear fiercely chopped at Yi Chen with the axe in his hand. The berserk power suddenly sucked out the air in front of him. Chin. Yi Chen's sword left its scabbard. The sword light flashed, shaking the void. How did Ghost Bear get here? How did he get back? His hand felt numb. You pushed me back. Ghost Bear was surprised. Although he had only used 80% of his battle power, Yi Chen was only a mid-astral reaching expert. He could kill one with one axe. Kid, interesting. Take my axe-cleaving river. The axe was thrown out, and the air was like a raging river, splitting in two as a huge axe light smashed over. Comparing battle power, you are only at the same level as Iceblade. Piss off. Holding the Starscar sword, Yi Chen counterattacked with an even more ferocious manner. The sword light imprinted with sky-opening green lotus shattered the axe light and landed heavily on Ghost Bear's protective Jin Yuan. Pooh. Spurting out a mouthful of blood, Ghost Bear was blown back in shock. This kid is troublesome. Old Zhu, let's kill him together. Ghost Bear was truly shocked. As a peak astral reaching expert, the number of people who could defeat him could be counted on one's fingers. He had never thought that he would lose to Yi Chen. It was simply unimaginable. Old Zhu was also shocked. If he had treated Yi Chen as a sheep before, then right now, the latter had already risen to the level of a wolf. Shattering heart-lung claw. Old Zhu walked the devil Dao. His body shook, and Black Shen Yuan surged like a giant black snake. He raised his gloved right hand, and 3 black claw lights tore through the air, attacking Yi Chen's vital points. Green Lotus Chi. With a slash of his sword, a huge illusory green lotus appeared in front of him. The green lotus expanded rapidly and hundreds of sword chi shot out, annihilating old Zhu's claw light and enveloping the two of them. Ding ding dang dang. There were too many sword chis. Elder Zhu couldn't be bothered to attack Yi Chen. His hands danced around, forming a claw net in front of him. Phantom Bear took advantage of the fact that his axe was big enough. He slammed it against the ground and used the wide body of the axe to block the sword chi that shot at him. Brat, I admit that I have underestimated you. But now, you will die without a doubt. Burn for me. It was impossible for old Zhu to give up on so many artifacts. The Black Shen Yuan in his body rubbed against each other, giving birth to a surging black flame. Amidst the flame, he pounced at Yi Chen, drawing out a black arc in the air that looked both real and fake. Old Zhu has even used the Black Devil Phantom art. Entangling that brat should be no problem. I will give him a fatal blow. Phantom Bear also chose to burn his Zhen Yuan. Then, using some unknown secret art, his arms swelled up and became as thick as buckets. Even his clothes were torn apart. Black Devil Suppression. Old Zhu's short body miraculously extended to the length of a normal human. His hands were like ropes, twisting and pulling around Yi Chen. After a few blinks of an eye, Black Shen Yuan chains appeared around Yi Chen. These chains were as thick as arms, locking Yi Chen in the center. Then, above Yi Chen, at the end of the chains, a Black Shen Yuan stone platform pressed down. What a profound Shen Yuan materialization. It seems to contain 2 different mentalities. One is the metal mentality, and the other is the earth mentality. Yi Chen was slightly surprised. This old Zhu was extremely ugly, but he was extremely powerful. Unfortunately, in front of absolute power, everything was meaningless. Break, break, break. The green lotus Zhen Yuan burned as Yi Chen uttered the word break 3 times in a row. Once the last word was uttered, the Zhen Yuan chains around him shattered inch by inch, and the stone platform above him was covered in cracks before exploding. How is this possible? What kind of fast sword speed is this? Old Zhu hurriedly retreated. With his eyesight pushed to its limit, he could barely see Yi Chen's 49 sword strikes. Each strike landed on the weakest part of the Zhen Yuan chains and the stone platform. That kind of extreme speed made him tremble. Die. At this moment, Ghost Bear rushed up. Taking advantage of the moment when Yi Chen shattered the Zhen Yuan chains and the stone platform, his bucket-thick arms held the huge axe and chopped down. This axe strike contained the fire mentality that could incinerate all living things. The fierce heatwave burned the collapsed passage red. Sure enough, these peak astral reaching experts have all researched their mentalities to their limits. If I want to maintain the superiority of their mentalities, I'll have to make even greater breakthroughs. Facing the bright red axe light, Yi Chen still had time to think. All along, he had a lot of advantages, such as sword intent and mentalities. However, after entering the astral reaching realm, all he had encountered were powerful astral reaching experts. The advantage of mentalities was negligible, and only his sword intent was his greatest reliance. Slow. Activating the never-before-used slow sword mentality, Yi Chen stabbed out. The air became motionless, and Ghost Bear's axe light seemed to have slowed down a lot, moving towards Yi Chen bit by bit. Meanwhile, Yi Chen's sword light was like a spark, dazzling to the extreme. Rumble. The passage behind Yi Chen shattered and melted, and a light sword scar appeared on Ghost Bear's right arm. What? He dodged my killing move. Ghost Bear seemed to have sensed something and was astonished. Entering the astral reaching realm, mentalities were quite important. Most people studied the mentalities of nature, such as metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, and so on. Although the illusory mentalities could be comprehended, they were extremely difficult. Among them were fast mentalities and slow mentalities. Just now, Yi Chen had clearly used slow mentalities, which had caused his thoughts to pause for a brief moment. This kid is a freak. He even comprehended slow mentalities. Ghost Bear and Old Zhu exchanged a glance. Quick. Changing from slow sword mentalities to fast sword mentalities, the flow of air accelerated. With a slight breeze, countless sword lights shot out at an extreme speed. The fast and slow transition was too quick, and the two's thoughts almost couldn't keep up. They were forced to defend passively. In these 2 years, I've never given up on comprehending fast and slow mentalities. In fact, slow and slow mentalities exist in the majority of mentalities. For example, thunder mentalities are both fast and slow. Once separated, it becomes fast and slow mentalities, which makes my comprehension even smoother. Sword lights fell like rain as Yi Chen shot out along with numerous sword lights, his frightening speed like a beam of light. Rip. Old Zhu and Ghost Bear were both injured. Chapter 342. Old Zhu, we can't beat him, but it's impossible for us to give up on so many artifacts. Let's join hands and take some of them, then retreat. Ghost Bear had to admit that Yi Chen's strength was above his and Old Zhu's. If Yi Chen were to be ranked among the top 10 astral-reaching realm sword artists, he would be at least number 3. The thought of retreating appeared in his mind. All right. Old Zhu was a peak astral-reaching expert after all. Although Yi Chen was powerful, it wouldn't be that easy for him to kill them. He and Ghost Bear had only suffered some light injuries. The two didn't cultivate the same type of Jin Yuan, but at this moment, the powerful Jin Yuan flow still forced Yi Chen to retreat. Rise. Jin Yuan turned into a huge hand, and the two each grabbed a piece of broken mud, which was about 20% of the total amount. Yi Chen's eyes were sharp, and he immediately saw the mid-grade artifacts in the mud. He yelled, "Stay." The sword light slashed through, and small pieces of mud fell down along with 4 or 5 fingers of Jin Yuan. Damn. Let's go. With their harvest reduced by half, Ghost Bear and Old Zhu were furious, but what could they do? Yi Chen's strength was right there, and he also knew the fast and slow mentality. It was not very realistic for them to join hands. If they continued to fight, the situation would be very unfavorable for them. Shua. Shua. A shadow flashed through, and the two escaped. They are weaker than me. 1-on-1, or 2-on-1, I would not be afraid. But, it would be hard to kill them. Top astral-reaching realm warriors are not that easy to kill. Even if I perform the 8th movement of the Green Lotus sword art, the Green Lotus sprouting, it would only wound them a bit more, which would expose my ace card for no reason. Yi Chen did not chase after them, since it was more important to check the remaining 80% of the weapons first. Wrapping the mud with Jin Yuan, Yi Chen exerted his strength. With a crashing sound, the mud shattered, and all sorts of artifacts fell onto the ground, forming a pile. No need to look at the low-grade artifacts. Put them away first. Yi Chen was concerned about the mid-grade artifacts. Low-grade artifacts were no different from low-grade spirit stones to him, and were considered his personal wealth. After putting away the low-grade artifacts, all that remained were mid-grade artifacts. There were 7 of them in total. A mid-grade treasure sword. Yi Chen immediately saw the black sheathless heavy sword among the 7 mid-grade treasured weapons. But in the next moment, Yi Chen was dumbfounded. The black heavy sword fell into his hands, and as soon as he poured his true essence into it, the heavy sword collapsed into a brilliant light. Too much time has passed. Even the middle-grade swords have decayed. Yi Chen was very regretful. Aside from the black heavy sword, there were 4 other mid-grade artifacts that had decayed. Counting all of them, there were only 2 mid-grade artifacts that could actually be used. If nothing unexpected happened, then the low-grade artifacts would have decayed even more. After all, in terms of durability, low-grade artifacts were much worse than mid-grade artifacts. The 2 usable mid-grade artifacts were the Golden Gauntlets and the Eyebrows Iron Staff. The Golden Gauntlets were perfect for Xu Jing, so Yi Chen planned to leave them for her. Once she reached the astral reaching realm, she would not need to look for a suitable mid-grade artifact anymore. After checking everything, Yi Chen let out a breath. There were still too few sword artists on this true spirit continent, and mid-grade greatswords were relatively rare as well. Among the top 6 rank 6 martial institutions, only the Fire Spirit Palace seemed to have a weapon master who knew how to make great artifacts. He had never heard of any master from the Fire Spirit Palace having a mid-grade great artifact, and even a lot of the inner masters did not have one. It was not hard to imagine how hard it would be to make one. Most of the time, it could only be provided for a small number of people. With a mid-grade greatsword, I would have a higher chance of killing a top astral reaching realm warrior. It would be a necessity for me right now. A thought flashed through his mind as Yi Chen flew deeper into the ground. Damn. All of them are useless. Only one low-grade artifact is still intact. Somewhere in the complicated tunnel, Ghost Bear cursed. Old Zhu's expression was also not that good. This time, not only did he not get any mid-grade artifacts, even the low-grade ones that he got were basically useless. Ghost Bear, I have to admit that we have been messed up this time. I wonder where that brat came from. Old Zhu said with a low voice. Putting away the only intact low-grade artifact, Ghost Bear said with hatred, no matter who he is, he has messed with me. I will make him die sooner or later. Die without a body? You! Old Zhu said with a sarcastic tone. Ghost Bear stared at him. What? You dare to look down on me? Don't forget that he is only around 20 years old. If I have guessed it right, this brat should be Yi Chen, who was famous in the Hidden Dragon Ancient City 2 years ago. Among all the contestants, only that Yi Chen has the same age as this brat. We all know Sikong Sheng, and he is even older. Besides him, there are not many young warriors who could make it. Yi Chen. The Yi Chen who was able to fight against early astral reaching realm warriors when he was only at late clasping Yuan realm? Ghost Bear was a bit surprised. There were a lot of astral reaching realm warriors that went to the Hidden Dragon Ancient City, but compared to all the astral reaching realm warriors in the whole South Rudra region, it was not even 1/10 of them. Therefore, there were a lot of people who did not know about Yi Chen. Most of them had only heard of his name. Right then, hearing Old Zhu, Ghost Bear also thought that this person must be Yi Chen, the martial genius who had made all the other martial geniuses in the whole South Rudra region pale. Think about it, he is only at mid-astral reaching realm, and he already has the power to beat us. If he continues to improve, then even extreme astral reaching realm warriors might not be able to beat him. Ghost Bear controlled his anger. Old Zhu, what do you think we should do? We can't just take a loss and pretend that nothing happened. I, Ghost Bear, am not that stupid. No need to rush. Even if we rush, it will not help. The most important thing right now is to increase our power. Once we have a good mid-rank artifact, we can discuss how to deal with him. Ghost Bear lacked a mid-rank defensive artifact, while Old Zhu did not even have one. But, he had reached the peak level late astral reaching realm longer than Ghost Bear, so his Jin Yuan was more abundant. His achievement in the poetic perspective was also higher than Ghost Bear's. Therefore, judging on overall power, the two were almost the same. Wow, you two must be escaping from a disaster, right? Look so messed up. A sword light flashed past from the top of the tunnel as a human figure flew down. Blood sword. Old Zhu's pupils shrank. Even top astral reaching realm warriors had different levels. For example, Yi Chen was one of the more powerful top astral reaching realm warriors, and this blood sword was also one of them. Blood sword glanced at Ghost Bear and Old Zhu, feeling a bit surprised. The two had bloodstains on them, and their clothes were torn. They must have been through a huge battle. But, it seemed like the battle was not between the two of them. Otherwise, they would not need to stand together and talk. Who had wounded them? The strength of these two people was only slightly inferior to his. Blood sword, you have both a mid-rank defensive artifact and a mid-rank attacking artifact. It seems like there is no need for you to come here, right? Ghost Bear looked at Blood Sword with fear. Blood Sword chuckled, I have nothing better to do, so I came here to kill some people. You too, please be careful. If I run into you alone, I might kill you. Hunting top astral reaching realm warriors must be interesting. Although you are more powerful than us, it is impossible for you to kill us. Plus, there is still Master Blood Demon in the grave. I don't think I need to explain his power, right? It would be extremely difficult for top astral reaching realm warriors to kill warriors at the same level. It was an undeniable fact. Therefore, top astral reaching realm warriors all had a certain pride. They would not give in to anyone, and it would be impossible for them to be afraid of anyone. My sword art has improved recently, and I am looking for someone to test it on. I will fight with Master Blood Demon sooner or later. You two, goodbye. A blood shadow flashed, and Blood Sword disappeared from their sight. Let's go as well. The two did not say anything about separating. For them, working together would be better than fighting alone. One was Yi Chen, one was Blood Sword, and the other was Master Blood Demon. All of them were powerful figures. There were countless underground passages in the mass grave, and it was 100 times more complicated than an ant's nest. Because it was too complicated, there would be human warriors who would choose to open up new passages at any time, making the underground environment even more complicated and confusing. It was impossible to tell which passage was which. Boom! An explosion sound was heard from deep underground. There is fighting sound, and the chi vibration of a mid-rank artifact. It is so powerful. What kind of mid-rank artifact is this? Yi Chen was shocked. He took out his long sword and cut open the ground under his feet. He then activated his protective Jin Yuan and rushed down. 2,000 meters underground, 5 to 6 people were battling. Bastard. We found this sword first. Piss off. Who do you think you are? Treasures belong to the right people. You guys do not deserve it. You are looking for death. Kill. I am afraid of you. Kill them. All of the people battling were late astral reaching realm warriors. There were only 2 of them, but there was a top astral reaching realm warrior among them. He was fighting against 3 of them, and was not at a disadvantage at all. Swoosh! The tunnel above them cracked open, and a blue shadow fell down. It was indeed Yi Chen. His eyes scanned through the 2 battling parties and landed on a blood-red rock. There was a sword hilt on the surface of the rock, and the chi vibration of a mid-rank artifact was coming from it. The chi vibration is 3 times more powerful than a normal mid-rank artifact. It must be a top-rank artifact. No, it is said that top-rank artifacts will have a strange phenomenon. Although the chi vibration of this sword is powerful, it does not have any strange phenomenon. It should be a special mid-rank great sword. Yi Chen's eyes were burning with passion. Crack! The tunnel nearby shattered all of a sudden, and a man in black robes with a ghost face mask walked out. Behind him were the man in blood robes and a top-rank blood demon. It's you. The man in black robes immediately noticed Yi Chen and said hatefully. Yi Chen's expression was indifferent. Ghost corpse man, long time no see. This time, no one can save you. What a big tone. You even dare to speak arrogantly in front of me, Master Blood Demon. Master Blood Demon had guessed Yi Chen's identity. His face was full of disdain as he caressed the storage ring on his right hand with his left hand, as if Yi Chen was already his prey. So you are Master Blood Demon. I have long wanted to meet you. Also, many thanks for your minor blood demon body separating great art. It has helped me a lot. Chapter 343. Master Blood Demon froze, then turned his head and asked Corpse Man, what's going on? What does my minor blood demon body separating great technique have to do with him? Good kid, you're indeed not afraid of death. Corpse Man was inwardly startled by Yi Chen's courage and replied, you still don't know. He cultivates the minor blood demon body separating great technique you created. If not for this secret skill, he would have died in my hands long ago. You lost in his hands. Master Blood Demon finally understood what was going on. No wonder Corpse Man didn't stay in Windy Nation and ran to the Blood Demon battlefield. It turned out that he was beaten out by someone else. As for the minor blood demon body separating great technique, he had once taught it to a few of his subordinates. 2 of them had been killed, so Yi Chen must have obtained it from them. Or perhaps they were killed by someone else, and Yi Chen killed that person. Narrowing his eyes, Master Blood Demon's tone was indifferent. Kid, are you going to kill yourself, or do you want me to capture you and feed you to my blood demon doppelganger? You don't seem to have the qualifications. At this moment, Yi Chen could be considered as a tycoon among astral-reaching experts. In the past, Corpse Man and Master Blood Demon were legends to him. He could still clearly remember that moment of horror when he saw the 5 ghosts carrying the coffin. But now, even Corpse Man had been defeated by him. If one were to talk about legends, then he himself was a legend. Haha, I don't have the qualifications. Master Blood Demon seemed to have heard something funny, and started to laugh in a strange manner. Who was he? He was the peak battle strength of the 108 ghost generals of the 9 ghost cult. He had once participated in the extermination of a 6th grade sect, slaughtering a large number of 6th grade sect elders. In terms of battle strength, under Sea of Soul Realm, those stronger than him could be counted on one hand. There was a period of time when his name could stop a child from crying. It was a synonym for terror. Who would have thought that the current young generation wouldn't take him seriously? How could he not laugh? However, the killing intent in his laughter made Corpse Man's pupils shrink. He actually dared to anger Master Blood Demon. This kid really doesn't know how the word death is written. In terms of terror, Master Blood Demon is one of the few ghost generals. As one of the 108 ghost warriors of the 9 ghost cult, the Corpse Man was very clear about the characteristics of the other ghost warriors. Excluding the top 3 super horrifying ghost warriors, the Blood Demon would definitely be in the top 5, just like the Soundwave Ghost General. When he went crazy, he would be able to kill gods and demons. My god. It's Master Blood Demon. Quick, take the treasured sword and run. As soon as Yi Chen, Master Blood Demon, and the others appeared, the people who were fighting immediately split up. One of them was very agile, rolling up the rock with the sword in it and running away. Courting death. The Blood Demon doppelganger beside Master Blood Demon turned into a blood-colored light and pounced forward. Ah! The blood light pierced through the body of a slightly weaker late astral reaching expert like a hot knife through butter, appearing in front of him at an astonishing speed. Get lost. The man punched out, causing the void to tremble. Unfortunately, the Blood Demon doppelganger didn't fight him head-on. Its body elongated like a blood-red cloth, wrapping around the opponent and tightening abruptly. Creak. The protective Jin Yuan warped and deformed. The corrosive Blood Demon Jin Yuan invaded, turning into fine needles and piercing into the opponent's head. The plump skin and flesh shriveled at an unimaginable speed. Losing control, the powerful protective Jin Yuan naturally lost control and immediately dissipated. With a ripping sound, the blood-colored light entered the opponent's body. By the time the Blood Demon doppelganger came out, the man had already turned into a skeleton wrapped in a layer of skin. His flesh and essence Yuan had been cleanly devoured. Jie. Licking his lips with his blood-red tongue, the Blood Demon doppelganger let out a strange laugh. Yi Chen looked on with cold eyes. Even if these people were alive, they wouldn't help him. Therefore, whether they died or not didn't affect him in the slightest. He was more than happy to let the Blood Demon doppelganger kill them. Master Blood Demon, you're too tyrannical. I, Zhongxian, have never offended you, nor do we have any conflicts of interest. Why did you kill him? Among the 6, only one dared to speak to Master Blood Demon in such a manner. It was that peak astral reaching expert, Zhongxian. Although he was apprehensive of Master Blood Demon's strength, he didn't believe that Master Blood Demon could do anything to him. In a one-on-one battle, he was confident that he could escape with some injuries. Master Blood Demon shot a glance at him. What? You're not convinced? Leave the sword, and you can scram. Otherwise, don't blame me for being merciless. Merciless? I'd like to see how you're going to stop me. Zhongxian coldly snorted. His Jin Yuan turned into a huge hand and grabbed the blood-red rock. In order to save time, he didn't immediately put it into his storage ring. Instead, he charged at the Blood Demon doppelganger. This series of actions was completed in the time it takes for a spark to fly off a flint. The Blood Demon doppelganger's mouth suddenly opened, and a strange scene occurred. His mouth seemed limitless, expanding to several meters in size before swallowing Zhongxian. Insignificant skill. Break. An arc of light flickered in the void, and a hole was torn open in the Blood Demon doppelganger's mouth. Dark red blood splattered everywhere, sprinkling on the surface of the passage, producing sizzling sounds of corrosion. Corpse Ghost, you go kill the others. Master Blood Demon said to Corpse Man, then coldly looked at Yi Chen. Kid, stay here and don't move. If you move, I'll chop off one of your legs. If you don't move, perhaps I'll let you live. After speaking, the air turned fuzzy, and Master Blood Demon disappeared. Peng. In the next moment, Master Blood Demon and Zhong Xian exchanged blows. The result was that Zhong Xian was blown back, and the blood-red rock fell to the ground. Just as Master Blood Demon was about to grab the rock and throw it into his storage ring, a figure flickered, and the rock disappeared. Kid, you're courting death. Master Blood Demon was fuming with anger. How could he not know that the one who made the move was none other than Yi Chen? Master Blood Demon, you don't have the qualifications to order me. Right now, I want to kill Corpse Man. Who can stop me? After seizing the blood-red rock, Yi Chen didn't bother with Master Blood Demon anymore. He turned around and rushed toward Corpse Man. His shadow separation light art made his figure seem like a ghost. Bastard. Do you think I, Corpse Man, am a fish on the chopping block, waiting to be slaughtered by you? Corpse Man thought that Yi Chen's battle strength wasn't much different from before, and only his cultivation base was a bit stronger. Therefore, he wasn't the least bit worried about his life. Green Lotus Mountain Splitter. The sword light imprinted with the Sky Creation Green Lotus split the passage and slashed toward Corpse Man. Break for me. With a shriek, Corpse Man smashed the golden skull on the sword light. Rumble. A frightening shockwave radiated in all directions, piercing through countless passages nearby. The hard soil was blown away like weathered sand. Impossible. His battle strength can't be this powerful. The golden skull flew out of Corpse Man's hand, and he shot backward like a broken sack. His broken body pierced through layer after layer of soil. Die. Yi Chen chased after him, performing the seventh movement of his Green Lotus sword art, Green Lotus Sky. All of the moving sand and rocks floated in the air, losing all of their momentum. The Corpse Man's flying speed suddenly decreased drastically, as he sank into the mud and could not control himself. Brat, you've angered me. Master Blood Demon's face was frighteningly gloomy. He tossed aside Zhong Xian and chased after Yi Chen. Zhong Xian didn't dare to provoke the furious Master Blood Demon, but the death of his subordinates made him very angry. He didn't get the sword, and had caused a lot of trouble. Leaving in a cowardly manner wasn't his style. His eyes turned, and his gaze fell on the Blood Demon doppelganger. Since he couldn't beat Master Blood Demon, eradicating his doppelganger would be a great thing. In any case, if it was one-on-one, almost no peak astral reaching expert could kill him. Rip. The arcs of light crisscrossed, enveloping the Blood Demon doppelganger within. The Blood Demon doppelganger was a great helper of Master Blood Demon. Its battle strength was very close to peak high-grade Blood Demons. However, a gap was a gap. Under Zhong Xian's all-out attack, the doppelganger was chopped miserably, letting out strange cries. If not for high-grade Blood Demons' exceptionally tenacious vitality, which allowed them to be dismembered, the doppelganger would have long since died under Zhong Xian's hands. I'm going to die from anger. On the way, Master Blood Demon heard the doppelganger's miserable cries. His heart was filled with fury, almost driving him insane. His soaring blood chi was even more frightening than peak high-grade Blood Demons. The soil above his head was corroded, forming a huge hole, with debris falling down. I'll kill that kid first, then kill this person. Knowing which was more important, Master Blood Demon held back his desire to kill Zhong Xian and continued chasing after Yi Chen. Tang Shui, save me. In front of him, Corpse Man was terrified. It originated from the fear of death. He had traveled unhindered in South Rudra region for many years, and everyone knew that he was cruel and frightening. Who would have thought that he, who was cruel to begin with, was extremely afraid of death? From a dead man to a living man, he treasured his life very much. Yi Chen, who seemed to be in his 20s, was like a fiend. Under the activation of his sword intent, all distracting thoughts seemed to have been erased. His emotionless eyes were fixated on Corpse Man. You're known as Corpse Man. Today, I'll turn you into a real ghost. With a slash of the Starscar sword, a fist-sized green lotus tore through the air and rapidly pierced through Corpse Man's face, coming out from the back of his head. The life aura in Corpse Man's eyes disappeared, and he smashed into the soil with a bang. "Kid, I'll skin you alive." Master Blood Demon caught up. Raising his hand, 5 blood-red streaks shot out. Turning around, he raised his sword to block. Peng! The blood-red streaks scattered, and Yi Chen retreated 3 steps. "Hey! That kid is powerful." He blocked Master Blood Demon's attack. Blood Demon Doppelganger was extremely hard to kill. Zhong Xian attacked while observing Master Blood Demon's situation. Seeing Yi Chen block Master Blood Demon's furious attack, he was quite astonished. Activating his Zhen Yuan to disperse the blood qi on the Starscar sword, Yi Chen raised his eyes. "Master Blood Demon, don't think too highly of yourself. Your era has long passed. Very well, I'll let you know the consequences of being arrogant. In the future, you'll spend your days howling in grief. Those who offend me, Master Blood Demon, will find it hard to die even if they want to." Master Blood Demon laughed out of extreme anger. His storage ring flickered with a dim light, and a blood-red stick appeared in his hand. This stick was thick at the front and narrow at the back. At the end, several blood-red ribbons were coiled around it. These ribbons danced on their own like tentacles. Chapter 344. Brat, die for me. The blood-red stick in Master Blood Demon's hand was a mid-grade artifact. As those tentacle-like ribbons streaked across the air was cut open, issuing a strange buzzing sound. As Master Blood Demon poured his Zhen Yuan into it, a blood-red halo appeared on the tip of the stick, and it heavily attacked toward Yi Chen. So strange. It can affect people's minds and make them confused. Yi Chen squinted his eyes. The buzzing sound of the ribbons cutting through the air even made him feel a bit scared. It should be known that his current sword intent was enough to contend against a normal complete sword intent. No distractions would arise, and no evils would invade. In other words, Master Blood Demon's achievements in the demonic Tao were absolutely frightening. Without any thoughts, Yi Chen's sword greeted the blood-red stick. Bang! The blood-red stick was much heavier than metal. As soon as the Starscar sword slashed at it, it felt like it was slashing at a metal mountain. The powerful impact crazily surged forth, and Yi Chen couldn't stop his body. He was forced to take 5 steps back, and the hard soil was turned into dust. Meanwhile, Master Blood Demon also took 3.5 steps back. My full power attack in my normal state only made him take 5 steps back. Moreover, it seems like he has the advantage of a mid-grade artifact. Master Blood Demon angrily looked at Yi Chen. He was in his normal state, but Yi Chen was also in his normal state. If the weapons in their hands were the same, he wouldn't have the confidence to make Yi Chen take 5 steps back, even though each of the latter's steps had turned the ground into dust. "You take my sword as well." His right foot stomped on the ground, creating a hole. Yi Chen held his sword with one hand and thrust out, using the lone peak kill that he hadn't used in a long time. Not good. Master Blood Demon could tell that this sword contained the killing mentality. The killing mentality contained many different mentalities, such as speed and distance. Under this sword, it immediately gave rise to an illusion. The sword light was clearly right in front of his eyes, but he still felt that it was far away. Raw. At this moment, blocking was clearly a bad idea. Master Blood Demon's throat swelled, and his Zhen Yuan condensed into an illusory skull. Along with his roar, the skull exploded with a frightening sound wave. The sound wave was grey-black in color, and it swept out like a wave, radiating in all directions. It's that sound wave technique again. Yi Chen had seen it once from the corpse man, so he hurriedly pulled back his sword and retreated, using his green lotus Zhen Yuan to protect his entire body from being injured by the sound wave. Buzz. The speed of sound was the speed of sound, but under the stimulation of Zhen Yuan, the sound wave released by Master Blood Demon had clearly surpassed the speed of sound by several times. The hard soil vibrated at an abnormal frequency, disintegrating on its own. In terms of lethality, the sound wave released by Corpse Man could not be compared to Master Blood Demon at all. We can't stay here for long. It's better to leave. The range of the sound wave was very wide. Zhongxian was only several hundred meters away from the two. His qi and blood were boiling from the sound wave, and his chest felt like vomiting. Even if it were to happen a few more times, he wouldn't dare to guarantee that he wouldn't suffer any internal injuries. Not caring about killing the blood demon doppelganger whose bloodlight had dimmed, Zhongxian slashed apart the doppelganger and fled towards the nearby passage. Master Blood Demon had already classified Yi Chen as a great enemy. He didn't care about Zhongxian's departure in the slightest. Moreover, even if he did care, he could still kill Yi Chen, and then kill Zhongxian. Just now, Yi Chen's sword strike had made him feel a trace of threat. Fortunately, he had exchanged the Great Blood Demon body-separating great technique with the Soundwave Ghost General. Unlike Corpse Man, Master Blood Demon had already cultivated the Ghost Roar technique to an extremely high realm, only slightly inferior to the Soundwave Ghost General. Under this roar, even peak astral reaching experts would have their qi and blood flow reverse, suffering some light injuries. However, it was a pity that Yi Chen was completely unscathed. In terms of Jin Yuan purity, there are very few astral reaching experts that can surpass me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to block this sound wave. After entering mid-astral reaching realm, Yi Chen's Jin Yuan was more than twice as pure as when he defeated Corpse Man. Therefore, even if Master Blood Demon's Ghost Roar technique was more powerful, it couldn't injure him. Demon Morning Wind Rod. His body rising from the ground, a blood-red flame ignited on Master Blood Demon's body. The blood-red flame adhered to the rod, condensing into blood-red skulls. These skulls were densely packed, covering the entire rod as they opened their mouths and roared simultaneously. Rumble. The air collapsed, and a large spatial crack pervaded the air. Accompanying the crack was the rod with the blood-red skulls. The heavy rod ignored the distance between the two and fiercely smashed over. What a powerful killing move! Sky-shattering clouds. Zigzagging lightning erupted, and a cyan flame ignited on Yi Chen's body. His sword struck the center of the rod without any deviation. Creak. The shockwave exploded in an instant, and the Starscar sword in Yi Chen's hand distorted for a split second, folding like a ripple. Not good, the Starscar sword is reaching its limit. Although a low-grade artifact was exceptionally tenacious and could endure the infusion of Jin Yuan, it had experienced many big and small battles ever since it followed Yi Chen. Among them, there was no lack of evenly matched, bitter, and bloody battles. For example, the previous confrontation with Iceblade could be considered a battle where defeat was turned into victory. However, the current situation was different. As Yi Chen entered mid-astral reaching realm, his Jin Yuan became increasingly purer and more tyrannical, and the Starscar sword itself was under a lot of pressure. After exchanging blows with the infamous Master Blood Demon several times, the Starscar sword finally couldn't bear the burden and showed signs of breaking. Seeing Yi Chen's embarrassment, Master Blood Demon laughed. "Kid, artifacts are also a part of strength." Die. Bang. 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 Holding the blood-red rod, Master Blood Demon smashed at Yi Chen again and again. Each strike was as heavy as a mountain, forcing Yi Chen to meet force with force. Green Lotus Chi transformation. An illusory green lotus appeared, and hundreds of sword chi shot out like the spikes of a hedgehog, forming a black mass. Useless. Break for me. It was impossible for Master Blood Demon to give up such a good opportunity. The blood-red rod crazily swept out. Before the sword chi could even approach, they were shattered into nothingness. Break. Swish. Taking a step forward, Master Blood Demon suddenly appeared 5 steps in front of Yi Chen and smashed his rod over. Creak. Tiny cracks appeared on the Starscar sword, and a teeth-numbing metallic sound rang out. In the next moment, thousands of fragments exploded. The Starscar sword was shattered. Ha, a sword artist has lost his sword. Let's see how you contend against me. Master Blood Demon was incomparably carefree. He had roamed the South Rudra region for many years, and it wasn't that he hadn't fought against peak sword artists. He was very clear that once a sword artist lost their sword, their battle strength would be reduced by at least 50%. The reason for this was precisely the sword intent. Only by attaching the sword intent to the sword could it display its greatest might. Without the sword intent was equivalent to being crippled. At most, it could increase the offensive power of Jin Yuan. The air was torn apart, and the bloodlight hacked toward Yi Chen's head. That tentacle-like ribbon was even more frightening than a sharp blade. Even if the rod couldn't hit Yi Chen, a single scratch from the ribbon would cause his head to break. At this moment, having lost his sword, it wouldn't be that easy for Yi Chen to receive Master Blood Demon's attack from a distance. Kai. Yi Chen's expression was grave and stern. Both of his hands flicked, and 3 green lotus sword chi shot through the air. What? Sword chi aroused from within his body? Withdrawing the rod, 2 of the sword chi were annihilated. The remaining sword chi coiled around Master Blood Demon's neck, letting out hissing sounds. Extinguish. Master Blood Demon thought that the sword chi aroused from within his body wouldn't be that powerful, so he attacked the sword chi with his bare hands. Blood splashed everywhere. Master Blood Demon let out a muffled groan. Good kid. Wait till I take you down. I'll make sure you won't be able to live or die. Even the bones of his left hand could be seen. Yi Chen's green lotus sword chi was like a saw blade. Not only did it cut open his protective Jin Yuan, it even left a bloody sword mark on his palm. Originally, if Master Blood Demon was a bit more cautious, he might not be injured even if he attacked the sword chi with his bare hands. However, he had treated this sword chi as an ordinary sword chi. Green lotus sword chi is limited. Even if I arouse it completely, it won't be able to injure Master Blood Demon. Seems like I'll have to use the mid-grade sword inside the blood-red rock. I hope it's not trash. Yi Chen was very worried. He was worried that he would obtain a piece of trash that couldn't bear the infusion of Jin Yuan. In that case, he would have no choice but to retreat. He was not arrogant enough to contend against Master Blood Demon empty-handed. The storage ring flickered with a dim light, and the blood-red rock appeared in Yi Chen's hand. At this moment, Master Blood Demon approached and smashed his rod. Holding the sword hilt on the surface of the rock, Yi Chen welcomed the attack. Catcher! The blood-red rock exploded, sending countless fragments flying in all directions. Hum! Abruptly, a sword hum resounded, and a dazzling 3-colored splendor filled the air, dazzling Master Blood Demon and Yi Chen's eyes. A pressure 3 times more powerful than an ordinary mid-grade artifact erupted. Damn it! This mid-grade artifact is not ordinary. Even if it's not an upper-grade artifact, it's not far from it. Master Blood Demon couldn't see through the details of the sword in Yi Chen's hand. He thought hatefully. At the same time, his attacks became even more ferocious, each of them fatal. Yi Chen shot a glance. The sword scabbard was simple and unadorned. The 3-colored splendor was emitted from the body of the sword when it was pulled out. However, this 3-colored splendor was a bit special. It seemed to be superimposing on top of each other, not fusing with each other. Hey! There are 3 sword hilts. Yi Chen was astonished, but the situation before his eyes didn't allow him to think. With a swipe of his finger, a deep blue sword light soared into the sky, blocking Master Blood Demon's attack. Thunder attribute mid-grade sword. There are 2 more inside. Yi Chen finally understood what was going on. There were actually 3 swords inside the scabbard, and the one he had just pulled out was only one of them. However, none of this was important. What was important was that the sword was not trash. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to block Master Blood Demon's full power attack. Sky-shattering clouds. Holding the deep blue sword in his hand, Yi Chen circulated his Jin Yuan and slashed out with the sky-shattering clouds, which contained the intent of thunder and clouds. The air became chaotic as a half-meter thick and dozens of meters long thunderbolt shot out. Its frightening might was several times more ferocious than the heavenly thunder, giving off an irresistible feeling of insignificance. Facing this thunderbolt that had materialized as a sword light, Master Blood Demon was greatly shocked. He had no time to dodge, and neither could he. Circulating his Jin Yuan to the limit, he raised his staff to meet it. Chapter 345. The blood-red stick and the lightning sword light clashed, and the air suddenly condensed. The surrounding mud crumbled and floated in the air. The surrounding several hundred meters turned into a gravity-free zone. Even the blood demon doppelganger, which was waiting for an opportunity to launch a sneak attack, was instantly affected, as if it had sunk into a swamp. Ka. As if dozens of thunderbolts had gathered together, the condensed air suddenly evaporated. A berserk shockwave spread out in all directions at 5 times the speed of sound. This kind of frightening destructive power was enough to make any astral-reaching expert tremble in fear. Because of the clash between the two, 1,000 meters wide and 200 to 300 meters tall hole appeared in the ground. As for the mud and rocks, they were all shaken into powder. It was as if a faint red whirlwind had filled the entire hole. It had to be said that the blood demon doppelganger's luck was quite bad. It had been hovering around Yi Chen the whole time, looking for an opportunity to attack. Unfortunately, before it could find the opportunity, it had already lost its life. If the shockwave's strongest might was 10, then the blood demon doppelganger had suffered at least 80%, directly annihilating into nothingness. In the center of the hole, where the two had exchanged blows, snaking lightning snakes burst forth. The small ones were as thick as an arm and several dozen meters long, while the big ones were as thick as a waist and several hundred meters long. With a certain point as the center, the entire hole was covered in dense lightning snakes. As each lightning snake lashed out, the air was instantly torn apart and evaporated, leaving behind several dozen meters to several hundred meters deep scorch marks on the ground. Puff! As the lightning snakes filled the sky, Master Blood Demon's chest was scorched black. He opened his mouth and spurted out a mouthful of smoke before flying high in the air. It's unexpectedly powerful. An ordinary mid-grade sword can amplify attack power by 30 to 40%. The thundercloud mentality I've comprehended is secretly compatible with this thunder attribute mid-grade sword, pushing the attack power to a whole new level, reaching above 40%. But what's more important is not this. Using this thunder attribute mid-grade sword to display sky-shattering clouds gives me a carefree feeling, like a fish in water. Some obstructions are naturally eliminated. As soon as I use it, sky-shattering clouds naturally fused to the 7th style. Yi Chen took a deep breath. The sky-shattering clouds had been fused to the 7th movement. According to his estimation, it would be equivalent to the power of the 8th movement of the Green Lotus sword arts, Green Lotus sprouting. Moreover, it would not be 80%, but 100%. In terms of moves and mentality, Yi Chen's achievement in sky-shattering clouds was enough to compete with extreme astral-reaching experts. He was one step closer to his goal of dominating the astral-reaching realm. How is this possible? How did his combat power suddenly increase by so much? Even if he possesses a mid-grade prized artifact, he shouldn't be this powerful. Although Master Blood Demon had blocked Yi Chen's frontal attack, that fierce thunder snake had pierced through his protective Jinyuan and caused him a lot of damage. Blood Demon Doppelganger, form. Having no time to tend to his injuries, Master Blood Demon fished out a blood-red bead from his storage ring. The bead shattered and blood mist pervaded the air, slowly condensing into a human figure. It was the Blood Demon avatar. However, the grade of this Blood Demon avatar couldn't compare to the one that had died. It was merely equivalent to a blood demon that had just stepped into the upper realm, and its battle power was similar to that of an ordinary early astral-reaching expert. Master Blood Demon had roamed South Rudra region for decades. It wasn't that he had never experienced the death of a blood demon avatar. However, for him, the death of a blood demon avatar was indeed heartbreaking, but it didn't affect him too much. This was because he had the ability to refine high-grade blood demons into blood demon beads. At present, he still had 3 blood demon beads in his storage ring. By crushing them, he would be able to condense a new blood demon avatar, making preparations for using the major blood demon body-separating great art. Putting the deep blue long sword back into its scabbard, Yi Chen took out the second sword according to his senses. This sword had a clear color, and was clearly a wood attribute mid-grade artifact. The brilliance emitted from it wasn't sharp, but it was exceptionally tenacious, like the weeds of a wasteland, endlessly growing. The thunder attribute mid-grade sword is compatible with sky-shattering clouds, and the wood attribute mid-grade sword is compatible with Green Lotus sword arts. Let's test out its power first. As soon as the deep blue longsword entered his hand, the green lotus Jin Yuan in Yi Chen's body produced a subtle reaction with it. It was a sign of incomparable compatibility. Yi Chen wasn't the least bit surprised. Green lotus sword arts was indeed a cultivation technique for sword artists, but it wasn't that it didn't have an attribute. This attribute was precisely the wood attribute. Therefore, among all the attributes, only the wood attribute was the most suitable for Yi Chen. Green lotus splitting mountain. Raising the long sword high, Yi Chen slashed down. The earth split open like a canyon, and the sword light imprinted with a huge green lotus directly split the void in two, attacking Master Blood Demon. Major Blood Demon body separating great art, break for me, bear. The Blood Demon doppelganger suddenly shrunk by a size. Boundless blood light converged on Master Blood Demon's body, burning fiercely. Its frightening might far surpassed the minor blood demon body separating great art. In fact, although the minor blood demon body separating great art seemed powerful, it had a flaw that was neither big nor small. This flaw was that it couldn't substantially increase an astral reaching expert's battle power. After all, Master Blood Demon himself was only at the peak of late astral reaching realm. How could a self-created martial skill be perfect? However, the major blood demon body separating great art was different. It was a martial skill that Master Blood Demon had obtained by chance, and its grade wasn't high earth grade, but peak earth grade. Without the major blood demon body separating great art, Master Blood Demon wouldn't be considered too powerful among peak astral reaching experts, and wouldn't have been so glorious in the past. Blood-red flames blazed on the mountain-like club. The flames seemed to have spirituality, condensing into clusters of skulls. These skulls were the size of a water tank, making the club seem several dozen meters long. Under Master Blood Demon's brandishing, it loudly smashed towards the sword light. Rumble. The whole cave had completely collapsed. Roaring chi power hurricanes soared into the sky, tearing apart layer after layer of tunnels. A lot of late astral reaching experts were caught in the range of the shockwaves. Some were lightly wounded, while others were heavily shredded into pieces by the overlapping chi power. Who is fighting? This commotion is way too frightening. It seems to be Master Blood Demon. Could it be Blood Sword? It should be more or less the same. In this burial mound, I'm afraid only Blood Sword could contend against Master Blood Demon. Both of them are famous for their ruthlessness. The commotion was too big, and more than one or two people had sensed it. More than 80% of the people knew that there were two frightening peak astral reaching experts battling. However, they couldn't think of anyone who could be Master Blood Demon's opponent. So, they naturally thought of Blood Sword. Blood Sword frowned. One of them was Master Blood Demon, while the other was very unfamiliar. Perhaps it was an ancient warrior who had been cultivating for many years. Interesting. I wonder when such a peak expert would appear in the South Rudra region. Blood Sword's figure flashed, cutting apart any obstacle in front of him as he rapidly approached the battlefield. That youngster is indeed frightening. Even Master Blood Demon couldn't do anything to him. Forget it, there are so many treasures in this burial mound. There is no need to provoke them. Zhong Xian heard the commotion behind him and clicked his tongue. With the amplification of Major Blood Demon body separating great art, Master Blood Demon finally managed to block out Yi Chen's sword. At this moment, he was hesitating whether continuing to fight with Yi Chen was worth it or not. He was conceited, but he was not conceited to the point of being ignorant. Killing a slightly weaker peak astral reaching expert was already extremely difficult, and the success rate was less than 70%. If he wanted to kill Yi Chen, it would not be easy. As long as he could ensure that he wouldn't get injured, it would be fine. Indeed, a mid-rank wood attribute greatsword is the most suitable for me. A single green lotus mountain could contend against Master Blood Demon's full power attack. Wave after wave of green lotus Jin Yuan poured into the deep blue long sword. The sword aura on Yi Chen's body was endless, showing signs of becoming more and more intense. In a place very deep underground. Shoo! A slender blood shadow flashed past. With a puff sound, a late astral reaching expert's forehead was pierced through, and all of his profound yuan was devoured cleanly. At the same time, the same thing was happening in other places. A few hundred meters below Yi Chen, Zhongxian roared, "Piss off." Arcs of light flashed, crisscrossing everywhere. Puff. The slender blood shadow's speed was too fast. Zhongxian only saw a blur before his eyes as something drilled into his body, and his profound yuan was rapidly drained. Nearby, Bloodsword was also attacked by the slender blood shadow. Not good. It's the blood evil beast. Bloodsword was always calm and battle-hungry. However, at this moment, he only had one thought in his mind, and that was to escape, as far as possible. The slender blood shadow would not let Bloodsword escape so easily. It pierced through his shoulder, and this was only because Bloodsword's speed was too fast. Otherwise, this attack would not have pierced through his shoulder, but his forehead or heart. Flowing light blood escape. At the moment of life and death, a frightening light burst out from Bloodsword's eyes. He sliced through the slender blood shadow with one sword, and his body turned into a blood-red sword light, his speed increasing by 2 folds. Boom! The ground was broken open as Bloodsword rushed to the place where Yi Chen and Master Blood Demon were fighting. Bloodsword! Fear flashed through Master Blood Demon's face. Before Yi Chen showed up, he cared about Bloodsword the most. Seeing him here, his vigilance increased, as he was afraid that Bloodsword and Yi Chen would join hands and kill him in the mass burial mound. Bloodsword acted as if he did not see Master Blood Demon at all, and continued to escape crazily. What's going on? He's wounded. Yi Chen saw that there was a bloody hole on the left shoulder of the Bloodsword artist. With the latter's power that was not weaker than the Blood Demon, who would be able to wound him? No, the Bloodsword artist was escaping. Something was catching up. Yi Chen's scalp went numb. Without thinking, he followed closely behind the Bloodsword artist. He released his powerful soul power, and a thin blood shadow that was dozens of meters long traveled at a horrifying speed under the ground. Yi Chen could sense a threat that he had never felt before. He had a feeling that if he was not lucky, he would die in the graveyard. Ah! It's a blood evil beast. Master Blood Demon roared with an unimaginable fear in his voice. With a boom, he also started to run. In order to increase his speed beyond his peak, he had even ignited his own blood and chi. Shoo! The slender blood shadow caught up. The wrist-thick blood shadow split into 3, chasing after the 3 like a forked tentacle. Without any suspense, the 3 were all wounded. Bloodsword's left leg was pierced through, and Master Blood Demon's abdomen was pierced through. Yi Chen was slightly better off. He had relied on his separating shadow flying ART's super dodging ability, and his arm had only been scratched slightly. However, it had already taken away a lot of his profound chi, which was the foundation of a warrior's cultivation. Yi Chen took in a deep cold breath. It was too powerful. The 3 of them were powerful enough to survive one attack from the blood evil beast. However, the others did not have this ability. Run! The blood evil beast is coming out. Save me! All of a sudden, waves of screams arose from the mass burial mound. Chapter 346. What is this thing? Yi Chen looked like he was thinking while running. However, no matter how hard he tried, he could not recall anything about that thin blood shadow. According to his soul power, Yi Chen could tell that the power of that thin blood shadow had already surpassed the top astral reaching realm, and had reached the level of extreme astral reaching realm. Only extreme astral reaching realm creatures would have the power to kill top astral reaching realm warriors. Regardless, I have to stay away from this place. There is more than one blood shadow here. If I am surrounded by 2 of them, the chance of survival would be less than 20%. The attacking power of that thin blood shadow was extremely powerful. What was more horrifying was that its attacking speed was unimaginably fast. Yi Chen thought that even if he encountered an extreme astral reaching realm warrior, he would not be able to be wounded instantly. But this time, he had been wounded for the first time, and had lost some of his profound yuan. Shoo! A slight air-slicing sound was heard from behind. Yi Chen performed his separating shadow flying art almost subconsciously. His body was separated into 2, and the next second, the blood shadow brushed past his neck. It seemed to have sensed that it had not hit anything, so it twisted to the right. Crack. The blood shadow had made a wrong judgment. The Yi Chen on the right was only a Jin Qi shadow. Break. Putting up his left index and middle fingers, the sword Qi was condensed without being released. It sliced through the air, and with a swooshing sound, a part of the blood shadow had been cut down. Light blood escape. Explode. This time, Bloodsword had the experience. His spirit power sensed a fluctuation behind him, and he reacted immediately. A huge layer of bloody sword light exploded out of his body, creating a powerful shockwave. Although the shockwave could not do anything to the blood shadow, it had undoubtedly slowed down the speed of his attack, and increased his own speed. Shoo! His body was like a sword light as Bloodsword's body flashed once before disappearing, leaving Yi Chen and Master Blood Demon far behind. Master Blood Demon was indeed worthy of being a top-notch ghost general of the Nine Ghost cult. He let out a low roar and swung both of his arms backwards. Like a river rowing a boat, he created a frightening propelling force and narrowly dodged the fatal attack. However, the Blood Demon doppelganger attached to his body had shrunk to the size of a child. Squeak! Right then, an extremely sharp scream was heard. An invisible pattern spread out crazily, covering Yi Chen and the other two. Not good. The faces of Bloodsword and Master Blood Demon changed. They felt dizzy, and their Jin Yuan, which had been pushed to the limit, slowed down. Yi Chen also felt the mental attack in the sound wave. He decisively bit the tip of his tongue and activated his sword intent to protect his mind, isolating himself from the mental attack. That was close. If this was a duel and the opponent used this move, he would definitely die. Yi Chen's scalp went numb as he pushed his Green Lotus Jin Yuan to its limit. The qi flow that shot out from his back was as sharp as a sword. One after another, it could kill a large group of peak-level late-clasping Yuan realm martial artists. Even early astral-reaching realm martial artists would be severely wounded if they were caught off guard. The soil was cut open. From the surface, the cut surface was as smooth as a mirror, as if it had been carefully polished. Little bastard, stay here. Master Blood Demon was quite a distance behind Yi Chen. When he saw Yi Chen fleeing in front of him, he revealed a sinister expression, revealing his snow-white teeth. With a shake of his hand, he shot a Blood Demon Pearl at Yi Chen. Explode. The Blood Demon Pearl could create a high-rank Blood Demon. Once it exploded, its power would be equivalent to the self-destruction of a high-rank Blood Demon. The blood-red shockwave directly blew the space in front of Yi Chen into nothingness. The airflow was strange, creating the illusion that time had stopped. Bloodsword spell. Bloodsword and Master Blood Demon had the same idea. They both planned to leave Yi Chen behind to block the Blood Evil Beast for a while, giving them a chance. They believed that with Yi Chen's power, the Blood Evil Beast would not be able to kill him within 2 or 3 attacks. And in that time, they would have the power to escape. Yi Chen looked gloomy. Although Master Blood Demon's attack did not hurt him, the shockwave had decreased his speed by more than 50%, and it was still decreasing. Besides that, Bloodsword's sword qi was even more deadly. As long as he did not take any countermeasures, this sword attack would take away half of his life without a doubt. You guys forced me to do this. If you want to stay, then everyone will stay. Yi Chen turned around at high speed. His cold eyes were extremely frightening, containing a huge pressure. Green Lotus sprouts. Green Lotus reaches the sky. The blue longsword was taken out of its scabbard, and the sword light spread out. The first half and the second half of the 8th movement of the Green Lotus sword art were performed at the same time, targeting Bloodsword and Master Blood Demon. Brat, you are looking for death. Bloodsword felt that it was reasonable for him to attack Yi Chen. But, when Yi Chen started to attack him, the anger in his heart exploded like a volcano. This time, he would not let Yi Chen have it easy, just like how he had destroyed a rank 7 martial school with his terrifying patience. Master Blood Demon was a bit scared. Yi Chen was one of the most threatening enemies he had ever met. His power was not that strong, but that ruthlessness was not like a young man at all. It was as if he had been through hundreds and thousands of bloody battles. At the most crucial moment, he could even disregard his own life. The sword light went from bright to weak, and from weak to strong again. Because they had never seen the power of the green lotus sprouts before, Master Blood Demon and Blood Sword had both been at a disadvantage. Their speed had dropped from a couple of times the speed of sound to 0, especially Master Blood Demon, who had been wounded during the battle with Yi Chen and had backed out dozens of meters. Shoo! The thin blood shadow flashed past, blocking in front of the three. It seemed like it was treating Yi Chen and the other two as food in its mouth. It was not in a hurry to attack. Instead, it stretched its rope-like body, blocking any possible way to break through. Brat, you are very brave. Blood Sword knew that there was no hope for him to break through, so he had to face the blood evil beast. If he ran away without a fight, he might become the beast's first target. Yi Chen looked calm, but his tone was full of killing intent. Blood Sword, you and I did not have any grudges before. Unfortunately, you have made a wrong move this time, and the consequences will not be good. Blood Sword was not angry, but laughed instead. Oh? What consequences? Die. Yi Chen spat out one word. Haha. This is the first time I have heard someone threaten me, Blood Sword. So nostalgic. It has been a long time since I last heard this kind of threat. Opening his mouth, Blood Sword showed his white teeth. Brat, do you know what kind of pain you will have to suffer for offending me? You can treat it as a joke. Wait until the moment you die, you will know what is unstoppable. I wanted to kill Jin Huang from the floating mountain school, but he is already dead. I want to kill the ghost corpse man, and even the blood demon could not stop me, so he died as well. If I want to kill you, no matter where you run to, you will die. Therefore, from now on, you will be like a dog, running away as much as you want. Perhaps because he had never fought with Yi Chen before, Blood Sword did not care about Yi Chen's words at all. Only the blood demon suddenly felt a chill from the bottom of his heart. The longer he had been in contact with Yi Chen, the more he could feel his potential and his scariness. If he was a demon, then Yi Chen would be a killing god. If he did not get rid of him, he would not be able to feel at ease. Of course, Blood Sword was a necessary help. Not to mention killing Yi Chen, it would be hard for him to even escape from the mouth of the blood evil beasts. Blood Sword, what do you think? Without needing to say anything, the blood demon directly sent a Jin Yuan message to Blood Sword, asking for his opinion. Blood Sword said coldly, Blood demon, do you think that anyone who offends me, the Blood Sword, will be able to live? That's good. If you and I join hands, we will have more than 40% chance of escaping from the mouth of the blood evil beasts. Then, we will kill this brat together, unless he dies in the mouth of the blood evil beasts. Of course, but I think he will be killed by the blood evil beasts. Blood Sword was very confident in himself. Just like the blood demon, he had been traveling in the South Rudra region for decades. There was nothing he had not been through. Things that were even more dangerous than the blood evil beasts had been a couple of times. On the other hand, Yi Chen was only a top astral reaching realm warrior who had just made his debut. Swoosh, swoosh. After setting up the route, the blood evil beasts started to attack. Their thin earthworm-like bodies wriggled as two extra branches appeared on their heads and tails, stabbing toward Yi Chen and the other two. The last sword does not have any element, but I can feel the destructive chi from it. Let's use it to perform the fast sword. The blood evil beast's attacking speed was too fast. The normal attacking speed had too many flaws, and only the fast mentality could compete with it. Chin. The third sword was a black long sword, which was also the thickest one. Once it was taken out of the scabbard, a vacuum crack appeared in the air. It was the destructive power of the sword's speed and the sword's own power. Yi Chen did not pour a lot of Jin Yuan into it. So powerful. Let's call this sword the Destruction Sword. Waving the Destruction Sword, the fast mentality burst out. Even the sword light could not be seen in the surreal space. One could only see the two thin blood shadows of the blood evil beasts being blocked out, unable to get any closer. Blood Sword and Blood Demon were both top astral reaching realm warriors, so they naturally had their own life-saving ace attacks. Blood Sword shook his arm, and the blood-colored long sword in his hand started to make a buzzing sound, vibrating at a high frequency. His body moved along with the sword, creating layers of afterimages, as if there were multiple mirrors around him. High-rank Earth Realm secret art, mirror image sword art. As for Blood Demon, he waved his blood-red stick, creating a blood-red swirl that contained a huge twisting power. Being in the center of the swirl, once the blood evil beast's attacks arrived, they would have to break through the swirl first. When the attacks reached him, both his power and speed would be reduced, so it would not be too hard for him to block them out. Major Blood Demon body separating great arts accompanying martial art, blood swirl, rumble. The ground had collapsed. When the three were battling with the blood evil beasts, they did not look as bad as before. Of course, they were all clear that it would be fine if they could only burst out their potential for a short period of time. But once the battle dragged on, they would not be able to escape death. Therefore, their current resistance was only to find a chance to escape. All of a sudden, a human figure jumped out of the ground. In order to escape from the blood evil beasts, this person did not care about where he was going. He had somehow managed to get in between the three, which was the closest to the blood evil beasts. Now is the time. Yi Chen and the other two were all quick-witted warriors. They immediately backed out, pushing their speed to its peak, choosing 3 different directions to increase their speed. The blood evil beast was a bit confused, not knowing which one to chase. If it could only chase after one, then it might as well kill the prey in front of it first. For it, as long as it could devour the essence yuan, it did not matter who it was. The man's pupils were enlarged, his expression horrified as he watched the blood evil beast's tentacles break through his protective Jin Yuan and drill into his body. Chapter 347. On the surface of the burial mound, a stone tablet cracked open, and Yi Chen jumped out with the destruction sword in his hand, landing on an even bigger stone tablet nearby. Focusing his eyes, Yi Chen's gaze landed on Blood Demon and Blood Sword, who had just escaped from the surface of the ground. A cold light flashed in Blood Sword's eyes as the killing intent spread out. His pitch-black pupils started to turn red as he locked onto Yi Chen, his cracked mouth looking extremely creepy. Blood Sword. Blood Demon's lips moved slightly as he sent a Zhen Yuan message to Blood Sword. Blood Sword tightened his grip on the sword hilt, no need to say more. This little bastard's life will be mine. You support me from the side. You. Being looked down upon, Blood Demon was a bit annoyed. But seriously, right now, he was indeed not Bloodsword's opponent. The combined damage from Yi Chen and the blood evil beasts had reduced his battling power by at least 20 to 30%. There was only one Blood Demon pearl left in his storage ring, which could only be used in a life or death situation. A forced smile appeared on his face as Blood Demon said, "All right, you will be the main force, and I will support you. I hope you can kill him with one attack." He thought to himself, this guy is not that easy to deal with. If I want to kill him, I will have to pay a price. Wait until both of you are badly wounded, and your battling power will be greatly reduced. Then, don't blame me for being cruel. All of your treasures will be mine. 1 against 2. Although it is a bit difficult, it is not impossible to wound one of them. Hey! That thing is coming. Dispelling the thought in his mind, Yi Chen's body flashed as he flew toward the fortress. It ran away. Blood Demon was a bit confused. When he heard the noise underground, he could not help but be shocked. There were at least 3 to 4 blood evil beasts rushing over. He did not expect Yi Chen to be 1 step ahead of them. With that thought in mind, Blood Demon was even more scared of Yi Chen. He said to Blood Sword, "Let's go as well." Inside the fortress, Yi Chen said without beating around the bush, "There are blood demon creatures rushing over from the burial mound. I suggest you leave now. Otherwise, you will not be able to leave in the future." Blood demon creatures. What do they look like? Even you can't handle it? Little North asked in surprise. Yi Chen nodded. They are very powerful. Almost no one under the Sea of Souls realm can handle them. Even I am not their opponent. They are shaped like snakes, but they do not have heads or tails. They are as thick as an arm, and dozens of meters to hundreds of meters long. Their attacking speed is incredibly fast. It's as thick as an arm and dozens of meters long. It can't be a blood evil beast, right? Kai Bei Duo's faces turned pale as if they had thought of something. Blood evil beast. Yi Chen couldn't associate the thin blood shadow with beasts. Da Bei explained, blood demons are born from the blood and resentment of humans or beasts. Blood evil beasts are born from the essence and resentment of blood demons. Blood evil beasts are born from the essence and resentment of blood demons. Blood evil beasts of the same level are many times more powerful than blood demons. Extremely powerful blood evil beasts can even transform into beast form. That is their ultimate form. Once a blood evil beast transforms into beast form, anything of the same level will be its prey, including humans. So powerful. Yi Chen hadn't seen any beast-shaped blood evil beasts in the mass burial mound. Presumably, they were all ordinary blood evil beasts. But, ordinary blood evil beasts had the power to kill them. If they were to run into beast-shaped blood evil beasts, it would be almost certain death. Yeah, blood evil beasts are the top predators in the blood demon battlefield. But, the probability of them appearing is very low. They only appear once in dozens of years. Since they have come out, let's leave quickly. I guess it won't be long before those hidden astral reaching realm experts come to the blood demon battlefield. Hidden astral reaching realm experts should be extreme astral reaching realm expert. I guess only a few of them can contend against blood evil beasts. Yi Chen nodded. He had already reached his goal of going to the mass burial mound, so there was no need to stay in the blood demon battlefield any longer. Moreover, he had heard Thunder Freer say that the closer one approached the limit of thunder mentality, the harder it would be to comprehend. Normally, one could only go to the first of the 3 layers to comprehend it. That was the origin of the thunder mentality. Blood demon battlefield was a broken space without any sky. Woo! Thousands of miles away from the demon Defiance fort, next to a conveyor stone door, a red whirlpool continued to speed up. Countless human figures disappeared within. He has come out. Didn't Master Jin Huang and Master Rock kill him? Things are not looking good. Let's have the soul-chasing bird follow him immediately. Yi Chen had calculated everything. He knew that Jin Huang would not have made any preparations, since the blood demon battlefield was huge. Even if he went in, he might not be able to find Yi Chen. Once he came out, he would be out of Jin Huang's sight. Therefore, there must be some spies outside. Killing one was killing, killing two was also killing. Yi Chen took out his blue long sword and slashed at the astral reaching realm expert whose soul power had sensed something strange. Ah, he has found me. The Bloodstone Islands had 36 islands in total. Before Yi Chen entered the blood demon battlefield, there were dozens of groups of people chasing after him, and each group had 3 astral reaching realm warriors. Therefore, when the dozens of groups were divided into 36 groups, each group only had 1 astral reaching realm warrior. Only the main island of the Bloodstone Islands had 2 astral reaching realm warriors. Right then, the astral reaching realm warrior who was about to release the soul-chasing bird had just made a move when a sharp sword chi pierced through the air. The extreme speed made him extremely frightened. Rumble. With the support of the mid-rank greatsword, the sword chi released by Yi Chen was unstoppable. It cut open a gap on the edge of the island, and that astral reaching realm warrior was immediately cut in half. What? Who is this guy? He even dares to kill the outer master of the floating island? What a powerful sword chi. He must be at least a top astral reaching realm warrior. Don't mess with him. Top astral reaching realm warriors are something that even rank 7 martial institutions are afraid of. If we mess with them, there will be no place for us in the whole South Rudra region. Everyone on the island was discussing, but no one knew who Yi Chen was. Even if they had some suspicions, no one dared to say anything. Looking around, Yi Chen was not surprised at all. The Windy Nation was one of the weaker ones among the 36 small nations, but it still had about 10 astral reaching realm warriors. A relatively powerful small nation like the Rudra Nation would have at least 30 to 40 astral reaching realm warriors. Adding them all together, the 36 small nations would have at least 600 to 700 astral reaching realm warriors. The top 10 medium nations would have even more astral reaching realm warriors, at least 2,000 to 3,000. The top 4 nations would have more astral reaching realm warriors than the 36 small nations, and top 10 nations combined more than 5,000. Therefore, in the whole South Rudra region, there would be close to 10,000 astral-reaching realm warriors. Adding the astral-reaching realm warriors who did not belong to any martial institutions and liked to travel around, 20,000 would not be a problem. However, among the 20,000 people, the ones who could be called top astral-reaching realm warriors did not exceed 50, including the top 10 sword artists and 7 blade artists. Extreme astral-reaching realm warriors were even fewer, which could be counted with 2 hands. A top astral-reaching realm warrior was still quite intimidating. Even rank 7 martial institutions would not want to mess with them, unless they had an extreme astral-reaching realm warrior. Of course, rank 6 martial institutions would not care about top astral-reaching realm warriors, since they had Sea of Souls realm warriors. If a Sea of Souls realm warrior wanted to kill a top astral-reaching realm warrior, he would be able to do so from hundreds of li away. However, Yi Chen dared to kill even the outer master of the Floating Mountain Martial School. Regardless of his background or his insanity, he would not be someone to be messed with. Shoo! Extending his body, Yi Chen broke through the air and left the Bloodstone Islands. Above the endless lake water, clouds and mist curled up. The true spirit continent has 3 layers. The first one is the surprising sky, which only astral-reaching realm warriors have the power to enter. The second one is the extreme void, where only Sea of Souls realm warriors can survive. The third one is the closest one to the outside world, which is where life and death realm warriors are active. Although my power is at the top astral-reaching realm, I still cannot go to the extreme void. What was in the extreme void, Yi Chen did not know, and what was in the surprising sky, Yi Chen did not know either. Right now, he was going to the surprising sky. A beam of blue light flashed in the sky as Yi Chen broke through the clouds and rushed 10,000 meters above the clouds. There seemed to be a thin layer there. Break. Condensing his Zhen Yuan, Yi Chen pointed at the thin layer. Puff. The thin layer was broken, and endless thunder and lightning poured down, which contained a horrifying heat and sharp wind blades. Thunder Yuan Qi, Fire Yuan Qi, Wind Yuan Qi. Yi Chen knew that these were all kinds of Yuan Qi in the surprising sky. Although the Yuan Qi below the surprising sky had different elements, it was actually very complicated and not very powerful. Even clasping Yuan realm warriors would be able to compete with it. However, the Yuan Qi in the surprising sky was extremely pure, without any impurities. The second the thin layer was broken, under the impact of all kinds of Yuan Qi, even peak-level late-clasping Yuan realm warriors would be washed into ashes. Only the protective Zhen Yuan would be able to handle this kind of pure Yuan Qi attack without being damaged at all. Flashing his body, Yi Chen flew into the surprising sky, and that thin layer was quickly repaired. This is the surprising sky. Yi Chen looked over and saw that there were only a few colors left in the whole world. The thunder Yuan Qi was that crystal blue, like a blue river, washing everywhere, clearly separated from the other Yuan Qi. The water Yuan Qi was crystal green, interweaving with each other. The fire Yuan Qi was crystal red, and wherever it went, the horrifying heat could burn everything. Traveling through all kinds of Yuan Qi, Yi Chen found the rare wood Yuan Qi. Sizzle. 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 Once the wood Yuan Qi touched Yi Chen's protective Zhen Yuan, it reacted immediately. It squeezed into his body and pushed out all the impurities in the wood Yuan Qi. Pure wood Yuan Qi contains the vitality of the wood. Looking carefully, the arrangement of the wood Yuan Qi is very mysterious. With my understanding of the wood mentality, I can only see about 80% of it. Some of the things are very hard to understand. Yi Chen let out a breath. He knew that it was just like what Thunder Freya had said. If he wanted to train his mentality to the extreme, he could only do it in the surprising sky. The other places would be flawed after all. As for the extreme void sky above the surprising sky, it was the place to train the profound meaning. As for the top sky, Yi Chen did not know what kind of secrets it had. Closing his eyes, Yi Chen sensed the arrangement of the wood Yuan Qi, hoping that he could learn the true meaning of the wood mentality from this arrangement, so that he could prepare to reach the extreme astral reaching realm. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,